Hello, I'm Doug and this is the Taste and Sensibility channel, and we have made it all the way to episode number 24 of Mild Melty Cheeses, where we are looking at sometimes less intense flavors but sometimes more melty, luscious textures. And we have an example today called Scandic Swedish Farmer cheese. And this cheese is not in my main reference, which is Liz Thorpe's The Book of Cheese. In her Havarti Gateway chapter, she mentions a whole set of cheese that are household table cheeses, expected or able to be eaten at every meal. And this particular cheese is not in here. But when I came across it at Whole Foods, I said, wow, that sure looks mild. There's not really a rind. It's soft. I think it's high moisture. Let me look into this. And I found some good descriptions that make me think, yeah, this is one of those young, melty cheeses that's in this group. And for a reason. So I don't think the package is going to survive here. But I will dump it out and maybe set up the label to be read. So in doing a little internet research on this thing, I did come across a few descriptions that make me think it's pretty promising. This imported Swedish Farmer cheese is a natural cow's milk, semi-soft, smooth cheese with a mild, creamy flavor. Considered a household cheese, hushållsast, butchering Swedish, I'm sure, means household in Swedish. It's eaten for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snack time. It cuts cube slices and melts well. So I think we're going to enjoy this and work it right into the usual things we've been doing in this series. But before I start cutting and tasting, let me remind you to like this video, leave comments and questions down below, share it with friends, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to get notified when the next video comes out. And there's not going to be that many more cheese videos in this series. Oh, nice. Little bits of holes. This is looking promising, and I took a little sample. See this little thing cut out or bite there? That was my sample. And something about it surprised me, but it was so small I couldn't go into a lot of details. So there's some of my pieces. So that should last me a while. Let's get into it. It is soft, squishy. You deform it and put it somewhere and it stays in that deformed shape. Tangy. Buttery. Thick, dense mouthfeel and texture. Yes, it's buttery and thick. Coating. A bit of salt. Oh, I like that. Let me find another small piece. Definitely dairy, young, moist, creamy, buttery, all those good things. Oh man, that's amazing. That's good. Okay, I'm gonna dive right into that cracker. So a nice piece on a bit of flatbread. Flatbread is boring, but this cheese is really good. It is not a lot of strong flavors, but it's a lot of flavors. There's saltiness, dairiness, something hinting at age or a location, or I'm not sure what it is. But the texture and mouthfeel, and then the buttery flavor notes and cream notes and dairy notes. Wow, yeah. I'm liking this. Okay, another piece on a multi-grain cracker. Stronger cracker flavors here, but the cheese holds up to it. They're both salty, and overall it's not too salty. Just more flavors are popping out of that. So that is a great compliment to the cracker. They work together well. I'm going to a more complicated type of cracker or thing. I don't even want to try to break it. It's unpredictable. I'm going to take a big piece here on this. I think it's hazelnuts and dates. I don't remember all the kinds I have. Let's give this a try. Wow, just interesting for having such mild flavors. The main ones are good. Butter, cream, salt, and some sort of aging, I don't know what to even call that thing. And the salt isn't overdone, but it's perking up the flavors to their maximum. It's almost too many flavors going on in the little cracker, but the cheese coats it all, calms it down, says you're going to be a cheese bite and not all these other things inside that cracker. Wow. So interesting. I'm surprised I'm liking a farmer cheese so much. It's so young and so mild. So one of the other things I've learned to do is to put interesting cheeses onto Biscoff cookies, crackers, tea biscuits. I don't know what these are used all over the world, but I'm going to put a little piece of this nice creamy cheese on a Biscoff, which by itself has kind of a, I don't know, coffee, chocolate, cinnamon, dark burnt caramel stuff. Those are the types of notes and flavors in there, and they're dark. But somehow it goes well with creamy cheeses. So it surprised me before. Let's do this again. It's a dark, sweet set of cookie notes centered around maybe coffee, chocolate, cinnamon type notes, but man, it goes well with that cheese. It just blends and it's creamy and it goes. It's almost like putting cream in coffee. Oh man, that's good. Okay, rinse and move on to pairings. And I've got a big fat piece here that I want to put something really good on it. How about this Rainier cherry? It's a half of a cherry. They're very juicy, they're very ripe, they're very good. Let's see how this works. Great contrasts. Saltiness of the cheese versus none in the cherry. Juiciness, it's moist, but it's a water wetness, a water moistness in the cherry. And it's a fat, it's a milk fat moistness in the cheese. Wow, that was good. The cherry did not have strong flavors, but the cheese doesn't either. So it's almost contrast other than flavor. Every other characteristic that your mouth can detect is going, whoa, those are two different things there, but they go together great. Okay, makes me want to try the fresh pineapple I have here too. If I can get a piece, kind of slippery. Smaller piece of pineapple, which is really juicy and sweet, and a modest piece of the Scandic cheese from Sweden. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't usually think of pineapple and cream or dairy-based things going together that well together. It just doesn't ring a bell in any combinations I'm thinking of, but that is really good. Okay, that works too. And the same sort of contrast, a fruitiness, a very wet juiciness, contrasting with the dairy, fat, and salty flavors of the cheese. Very good. And slippery pineapple juice all over. Yeah. Wow, so if I'm going to pair anything else, I better have to cut some more. And it cuts pretty easily. That should be enough for a couple of last things. think I've decided to run off after this and make a quesadilla out of some of the cheese that's left here and see how that works. So my next thing, I think I'll do a dried Medjool date. It's just a little piece of date. Flavors are strong and concentrated. I would think that would work out well. Mmm. It goes. It's really interesting. I'd probably use a bit more date relative to the size cheese I had. But the fruity, concentrated flavors, like almost a brown sugar or a syrupy sweetness in there, just goes so well with the cheese. Oh, and that's not the way I expected it to turn out, but it's really good. What else? I got pepper jelly and blueberries. Blueberries always work. So I think I will do a bit of a pepper jelly experiment here. Oh, this one is Southern Roots Sisters Raspberry Chipotle Jam. So as soon as my nose gets close to it, I think I'll smell the smokiness from the chipotle. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can smell the heat from the, yeah. Smell the heat from the chili too. Oh, guess I'll need to lick this off. Wow. Really good fruitiness and sweetness from the raspberry jam. And that goes well with all the cheese, the dairy notes of the cheese, but then the heat, the smokiness comes in first, and then the heat near the end from that smoked to dried jalapeno flavor. And there is a good amount of smoke and a good amount of heat. Oh man. Yep, excellent. Okay, let me try something that doesn't always work too well. It is nuts. They're highly variable. Sometimes they're strong flavors, sometimes they're weaker flavors. So I'm putting a couple of sweet almonds on my last little piece of Scandic here from Sweden. So let's give this a try. Mmm. Wow. Well, saltiness is a feature for sure. And the almond flavor just goes so well with the cheese. Notes the dairy part, the salt part, the fat part, and good crunch from the almonds. So nothing is failing when I pair it with this cheese. So as I mentioned before, I think I'm going to pop out and make that quesadilla with much of what's left of that cheese. So I'll be back shortly. Again, back with my quesadilla made with the Scandia Swedish cheese, but now I'm thinking might want the slate to cut it on because the pizza cutter is not going to navigate this plate very well. So I'm going to slide it off. I just made thin slices of the Scandia cheese. And heat up a corn, some white corn tortillas in a big cast iron skillet. And put the slices on to melt. And I can see it's kind of run out. It's a nice melty cheese, but I don't know if this is going to be sharp enough to just cut it cleanly or if it's just all going to squish out and make a big mess, but we will see. That seems clean. That's nice. Wobbly set. Okay, that's enough. I don't have to cut anymore. That's enough. So let me find. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Very melty and stretchy. I get the tanginess of the cheese, the buttery dairy notes, all that stuff is there. Works well with the white corn, browned white corn. Yeah, this is a great melter. It keeps most of the flavor, all the characteristics, the mouthfeel and the tanginess and the dairy notes, butteriness are all strong with this thing. So this is just wonderful. I like this cheese, even though I'd never heard of it before. So I think we're done, and this is wonderful. So again, please like this video, leave comments and questions, share it with friends, subscribe, and click on that bell to get notified for the last few videos on these mild melty cheeses that we're going to do. It might be 2, 3, 4 more, I'm not sure. But we're winding down, and please come back for more. And cheers.